to ask her. She wasn't.
Welcome. Welcome to the regular monthly meeting of the Board of Commissioners held for the purpose of transacting the general business of the Township. Today's date is September 13th, 2017. The meeting is being held in the Springfield Middle School Library, and I point out that clock is a little slow. We are not starting early. Please stand and join the Board of Commissioners in a moment of silent reflection, honoring the servicemen and women who placed themselves in harm's way in order to preserve our safety. Thank you. Please remain standing and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this point, I would entertain a motion dispensing with the reading of the minutes of the previous meeting as written and recorded in the official minute book of the Township.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote. At this point, I note that we are in full complement tonight. And I would also like to announce that the Board of Commissioners conducted an executive session meeting on August 30th at 5:30 p.m. The board discussed a matter of litigation with the Township solicitor. The board is now open to comments or questions from the public. The board draws particular attention to those items listed on the agenda this evening. Please be advised that once the committee reports begin, the board can no longer accept questions from the floor. At the conclusion of the committee reports, public comments will once again be accepted. However, official action on those issues listed on the agenda will have already taken place. Therefore, if you wish to comment on an agenda item, now would be the appropriate time. Go ahead, Faith, but you need to come down and state your name and address.
I'm Faith Watson, and we neighbors and near neighbors are here.
I need your address.
Oh, sorry, 103 West Northwestern Avenue.
That's good.
And we are here because there is a proposal for three-story townhouses and another house in the lot next to mine at number 121 West Northwestern Avenue. And currently there is just a house and really a shed. And so we are vehemently opposed to this highly dense proposal, and we would like to see the commissioners vote against it so that we don't have to deal with runoff and the traffic and the density.
Thank you.
Is that enough?
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay.
And let me just clarify the procedure. I think people in the audience know, but people watching may not. The petition is in front of the zoning board, and we do not control the zoning board. They listen and they make their own decision. We are in a position where we can go appear in the zoning board just as you as neighbors can, and we can express our opposition. And so we will be voting tonight as to whether we do that. So we're not actually voting on the project, but we're voting to advocate on your behalf in front of the zoning board. Do we have any other public comment?
Hello, Bob Gillies, 213 Woods Road. First, Holy Mars had to cancel a carnival for the week, so we're going to watch them next week. We'll be having the carnival. Item number 4, local service tax, comes up quite often, and there's a bit of confusion. Even tonight, just talking with one of the commissioners. This local service tax, if I'm correct, is for everybody, whether you're a resident or non-resident who work in the township. Is that correct?
That's my understanding.
Okay. You know, my opinion, the best way to prevent a unnecessary tax is to not let it go to the hearing stage. So I would hope you would consider a couple points so it won't go to the advertisement and another hearing. That the local service tax is $52 a year, the way I understand it, and if you make $12,000 or more and you work in the township, you pay it regardless. To me, it's a tax on, another tax on the people who do work in this township, our teachers, our firefighters, our police officers who work in the township. They will be paying $52 extra, those who live and work in the township. The other thing is, when you have, we have a lot of service facilities in the township, which are minimum wage earners who outside of the township. Many take bus from the city where there's not the amount of commerce, so they come out here to try to earn a better living. And we're going to ask them now to hop on a bus, come up here, and then pay the township $52 a year if the minimum wage person works 1,600 hours, just for the privilege of coming to Springfield Township to work. So there's a whole series of other things, that get imposed on the business owner. The business owner who works in this township, employs people. If it's a husband and wife, they both have to pay the $52, plus all their workers have to pay it. So it's not a business-friendly or it's not a business-friendly tax, and I would like you to consider not, at least discuss vigorously to the pros and cons before you decide to even advertise for the meeting. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other public comment at this point? Going once, going twice. Go ahead.
Andrew Glendenning, 916 Andorra Road, and I too am commenting about the proposal for Northwestern Avenue, the 3 townhouses on the property. If they're asking for any variance for density, I would hope that you would consider the level of pedestrian traffic as it is now and the congestion down there at that end of Northwestern Avenue. And any more density would only create more problem. That's all I want to say.
Encourage you to come to the zoning hearing, because that's where the rubber meets the road here.
All right.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Okay. Now we're moving on to the next section of the agenda. The first item is the September bill listing. I move that the Board of Commissioners approve the August check reconciliation in the amount of $1,472,218.31 and the September bill listing in the amount of $931,406.30. That is my motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote. Item 2, the resolution number 1434. I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt resolution number 1434, a resolution stating that the board shall make appropriate provisions in its 2018 proposed budget to cover the costs associated with funding the police, salaried and hourly employees' pension plans for the year 2018. Copies of the 3 minimum municipal obligations are available upon request. That is my motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? This is something we're obligated to do by law. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote. Next, we move to item 3, about the Township Auditor. I move that the Board of Commissioners engage the services of B. Bergvall and Company, CPA, to audit the financial statements of the Springfield Township governmental activities of each major fund and the aggregate remaining fund information, including related notes to the financial statements which collectively comprise the basic financial statements of Springfield Township, year ending December 31, 2017, in accordance with generally accepted accounting standards and consistent with the B. Bergvall and Company proposal dated September 5, 2017. That is my motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote. Now we move on to the local services tax. And let me just explain what this is. The paragraph I read will explain what it is, but the procedure going on here is this is something we've looked at in the past. It's a tax that allows the township to charge people who work in the township, whether they live here or not. If they don't live here, the wage tax goes back to their township, and it's limited to $1 a week. And the point of it is to pay for emergency services, although it's not restricted entirely to that. We've gotten to this stage is just advertising it, which gives us the opportunity to do it in the budget. It's not a commitment to do it, although if we don't do this, it's a commitment not to do it because we can't. We have passed this threshold several times in the past, but we have not enacted it in the past. As part of the 2018 budget, the Board of Commissioners may consider enacting a local services tax. The Pennsylvania local services tax may produce additional general fund revenue to ensure funding for police, fire, and emergency services, as well as road construction and/or road maintenance. The tax rate is a maximum $52 per year on individuals engaged in an occupation within Springfield Township. The concept behind such tax is that those who enjoy the benefits of the municipal services while employed in Springfield Township and who may not be paying local real estate taxes will now contribute towards the cost of providing these services. Due to the state regulations associated with enacting the local services tax, in order for the township to consider such a tax in 2018, an ordinance would be required to be enacted during the month of November. The authorization to advertise the ordinance does not obligate the board to enact such an ordinance or pursue a local services tax. Therefore, I move that the Board of Commissioners authorize the legal advertisement of a local services tax in Springfield Township and to conduct a public hearing to consider adoption of the local services tax on Wednesday, November 8 at 7:30 p.m. in the Springfield Township building. The public hearing is being scheduled on the same date as the 2018 budget presentation. At that time, the Board of Commissioners will have a better understanding of the preliminary 2018 budget and the financial requirements associated with the budget. That is my motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Yes, I have a few. If I could first ask our solicitor, based on what President Harbison read, does this ordinance have to be passed in November or by November?
It has to be passed in time to be incorporated into the budget.
Okay.
So that pretty much means November or before November.
Okay. So whether or not we agree to advertise it or not, suppose that we agree not to advertise, or even if we agree to advertise it and it doesn't pass this year, I would just suggest going forward that we begin this process in January or February, where more folks, I think, would have more time to get educated on the tax and look at it. Because we could have, based on that opinion, we could have been looking at this January, February, March. Today, I know there's a lot going on with the school. People are different, first 2 weeks back of school, there's not a lot of people engaged. And there's a lot going on social media about it. And I think, for whatever reason, if we don't pass it this year, I would hope next year we could start the process earlier. I just want to say for the folks that are here and aren't here, my take on this tax, no matter whether we pass this or not, from my perspective, we are still going to fund our police, fund our fire services, fund our ambulance services, and fund our public works. The police and the public works are by contract. We're going to do that anyway. It just depends on which pie you take it from and where we decide where our priorities are. But those items are going to be paid for. It's just how we're going to pay for them, whether it's through real estate tax or budget reductions or whatnot. So there are my comments over on that. I'm inclined to vote to advertise it this time around because I think there needs to be a debate about this. And by doing that, I think it'll spur some debate in the next month or two, and then folks can get up to speed on the ordinance. and it will allow us to have, I guess, more robust discussion on the budget. One of my questions are, which ordinance are we advertising? Is it the 2016 version, or?
That just needs to be updated. It was a draft that we had last year and the year before that.
Okay.
So when it's time to advertise it, we just update the dates on it.
Okay, so by passing this, if we pass this tonight to advertise it, if I could ask our solicitor, if something changes in the next week, is that a proper advertisement?
I'm not sure I know what you mean when you say if something changes.
Well, I just asked our manager, we're voting tonight to advertise something.
To pass an ordinance, as I understand what Don said, to pass an ordinance that would allow the levy of this municipal services tax with the dates changed to reflect that it could only be charged beginning January 1, 2017.
But like other, like when
18, I'm sorry.
we do other updates on ordinances, if one or two words change, don't we usually have to advertise them? Re-advertise?
That's true of zoning ordinances.
Okay.
It's not necessarily true of non-zoning ordinances.
Okay. And then-
This ordinance, because of the advertisement laws, actually won't be advertised for about a month because you can't advertise it too early or too late.
Well, that goes to my question with the timing. Well, can it help me understand that? Too late or too early for what?
That you can't advertise an ordinance less than 7 days or more than 30 days in advance of possible enactment. So with the possible enactment in early November,
Okay.
we'll create the timeframe accordingly. The reason it has to be passed in November is that if you do pass it, you have to give notice to the Commonwealth that you've enacted it, and they want that information in December.
But we could have passed this in September. Correct?
Could, yeah, sure.
Okay.
But the point is that if, after the hearing, we decided that we wanted to change something, we could not then,
That's where I'm getting to.
yeah, we couldn't pass it this year because we don't have time. That's the point.
Suppose the threshold goes down from 12,000 to 10,000 or something along those lines, we're out of time. If I'm correct with the timing.
No, you are, except that the 12,000 is by law, so you can't go below
Okay.
12.
Okay. Well, how about other exemptions?
You can do what the law permits, and I'd have to have a specific question,
Okay.
but the law from the state legislature is very clear about who you can exempt and who you can't exempt.
Okay, and as I said, we'll be voting to advertise it, but just listening to residents' comments and whatnot, if some type of change comes to the ordinance in October, we're not passing that this year.
That is correct.
Okay. That would be all my comments.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Daley. Do we have any other comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote. And again, to say it again, that doesn't mean we're going to do it. It means we're going to have it as an option. Item 5 on the agenda is the budget schedule. We will be meeting with the support agencies on the 20th of September, which is 1 week, at 7 o'clock at the Township Building at 1200 East Willow Grove Avenue. We're having a budget workshop meeting on the 18th of October at 7 o'clock in this room. That will be a week. That's a Wednesday. That's a week after our next month's meeting. Then we have our budget presentation on November 8th, which is our regular meeting time at 7:30, and that'll be in the new Township Building. That's very exciting. 1510 Paper Mill Road. And then we'll have a budget hearing and budget adoption at our December meeting on December 13th at 7:30, also in the new building. So that is that announcement. And that concludes my report. So I would like to move on to the Chairman of the Public Works and Facilities Committee, Commissioner Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 3 items this evening. First, I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt Resolution 1435, a resolution requesting PennDOT to approve an amendment to the traffic signal permit for the traffic signal on Bethlehem Pike at Montgomery Avenue in Erdenheim. in order that the township may install walk, don't walk, man-hand signal heads at the traffic signal. That's my motion.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote.
Thank you. Next, I move the Board of Commissioners adopt Resolution Number 1436, a resolution requesting PennDOT to approve an amendment to the traffic signal permit for the traffic signal on Stenton Avenue at West Wissahickon Avenue, in order that the township may remove 2 of the existing crosswalks on the southeasterly corners of Stenton Avenue and West Wissahickon Avenue in conjunction with the planned construction of the Erdenheim Farm Trail. That's the motion.
Thank you. We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote.
Thank you. And lastly, pursuant to the recommendation of the Township Fleet Supervisor, I move that the Board of Commissioners authorize the sale of the following township equipment or vehicles at a public auction to be held later this fall, sponsored by the Montgomery County Consortium of Communities and managed by J.J. Kane Auctioneers. 1, 2008 Chevrolet Trailblazer. 2, 2009 Chevrolet Tahoes. 3, these are single units, right, Don? I'm
Yes.
sorry. I apologize.
Yes.
So it's 1 Chevrolet 2008 Trailblazer, 1 Chevrolet Tahoe, 1 1993 International dump truck, 1 Coates 5060E tire changer for cars and light trucks, 1 STL Prime 2 47-inch linear light bar, 1 2007 Chevrolet Tahoe will be held from the Montgomery County Consortium public auction, but will be sold through a sealed bid or an electronic bid also later this fall. So that's my motion.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote.
Thank you. And I really hope to get the tire changer. That concludes my report, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Shum. We move to the Chairman of the Community Development Committee, Commissioner Standish.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm sorry this is a little long, so I hope you brought your 5-hour energy with you here. Number 1, the land development for Winmore Properties, LLC. I move that the Board of Commissioners approve the land development plan of Winmore Properties, LLC, located at 901 through 919 East Willow Grove Avenue, Winmore. The property consists of approximately 1.04 acres of land with a proposal to consolidate 6 parcels into 1 consolidated parcel. One of the existing buildings at the corner of East Willow Grove Avenue and Traymore Avenue will be retained. The remaining 3 buildings, including a dwelling, hardware store, and service station, are proposed to be demolished. The land will be redeveloped with mixed uses of retail, restaurant, cafe, and multiple dwellings on the upper floors of the buildings. The land development plan is a 21-sheet subdivision land development plan prepared by Land Corps Engineering Consultants dated June 28, 2017, last revised August 31st, 2017. Construction Stormwater Management Report prepared by Land Corps Engineering Consultants dated June 28, 2017, last revised August 31st, 2017, and a comment response letter prepared by Land Corps Engineering Consultants dated August 31st, 2017. The approval of the land development is subject to the applicant resolving all matters identified in a letter dated September 11th, 2017 from the Township Engineer to the Township Code Enforcement Officer. In conjunction with the approval, the Board will grant waivers to the following requirements of the Township Subdivision and Land Development Ordinance. 1. 95-7.I to accept the PennDOT Traffic Impact Assessment to satisfy the requirements of the traffic study. 2. 95-10.A to permit the existing PennDOT right-of-way width to remain. 3. 95-11.E sub 2B to waive the requirement for the Park and Recreation land dedication and to make payment in lieu of the required land dedication for the non-residential portion of the project. Payment of a fee in lieu of the dedication of Park and Recreation land for the residential portion of the project is not waived. 4. 95-11.I, in accordance with the Zoning Hearing Board variance related to landscape buffers, the landscape buffers provided on those subject land development plans are accepted as presented. 5. 95-11.I sub 8AB. Construction activities, storage of construction materials, and the placement of tree protection fencing within the drip line of the existing trees is to be retained. And finally, 95-11.I sub 11C and 95-11.I sub 14. A payment shall be made to the Township Landscape Fund for any required replacement trees that are unable to be planted on site. Arrangements can be made to plant trees on Township-owned properties in lieu of the payment to the Township Landscape Fund. That is my motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? I guess you'll have to read it again. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote.
Thank you. And next, I move that the Board of Commissioners accept a letter dated August 22nd, 2017 from Kenneth A. Bissinger of Renew Design Group, representing the School District of Springfield Township, extending the 90-day subdivision land development plan review period without limitation as to time. The extension of time will provide the Springfield School District the opportunity to revise their land development plans to be in compliance with the Springfield Township Code. That is my motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Please
Okay, next.
record a unanimous vote.
Sorry. And next, I move the Board of Commissioners accept a letter dated August 22nd, 2017 from Kenneth A. Bissinger of Renew Design Group, representing the School District of Springfield Township, extending the 90-day subdivision land development plan review period without limitation as to time. The extension of time will provide the Springfield School District the opportunity to revise their land development plans to be in compliance with the Springfield Township Code. And I noticed that there was nothing reflecting what these are about. The first motion was about the Springfield Township High School, and this one is about the Springfield Township Early Learning Center. So anyway, that is my motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote.
And finally, the Washington Manor Development is located on Pennsylvania Avenue near Camp Hill Road, located in both Springfield and Upper Dublin Townships. As a part of the approved Washington Manor subdivision plan, the developer is to provide an emergency access and open space easement to both Springfield and Upper Dublin Township. Therefore, I move that the Board of Commissioners authorize execution of an emergency access and open space easement through lot number 44 of the Washington Manor development. The easement is being granted by Spring House Land Inc., who is a developer, and is being granted to Springfield and Upper Dublin Townships. That is my motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote.
And that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Standish. We move to the Chairman of the Zoning Committee, Commissioner Daley.
Thank you, Mr. President. A public hearing will be held on the following zoning petitions on Monday, September 25th, 2017, at 7 p.m. in the Springfield Township Middle School Library. 1, the School District of Springfield Township is requesting the following variances in order to build a 17,000 square foot addition and construct a new baseball field near the southbound exit ramp of Route 309, Springfield High School. 1, a variance to reduce the front yard setback from 75 to 5.5 for structures accessory to the baseball field. 2, to increase maximum fence height from 4 feet to 6 feet for a fence and from 4 feet to 18 feet for a baseball backstop. 3, to reduce number of added parking spaces required from 174 to 13. 4, to reduce side of parking spaces from 20 by 10 feet to 18 by 9 feet. The second petition is for PRA Investment LLC, 3502 Scott Lane, Suite 1914, Philadelphia, is seeking the following variances needed to subdivide the existing 40,514 square foot property and construct 3 townhouses and 1 single-family detached dwelling at 121 Northwestern Avenue, Philadelphia. The first variance is to allow townhouse dwelling use in the A residential district. 2, to reduce the minimum lot area per dwelling from 12,500 square feet to 8,834 square feet for Lot 1. 3, to reduce minimum lot width extending to a public street from 75 feet to 28 feet per dwelling for Lot 1, and 75 feet to 0 for Lot 2. The overall width of Lot 2 is requested to be reduced to 71 feet. 4, to reduce the front yard setback from 40 feet to 24.5 feet for Lot 2. Subject property is located in A residential district. With respect to petition number 1, if I could ask the solicitor, do I have to abstain from that because my son plays baseball?
No,
They're doing a baseball field.
We're not voting on that anyway.
I'm just, well, with the zoning, I might have to. Number 2, I make the following motion. I move that the Board of Commissioners authorize the Office of Township Solicitor to attend all zoning hearing board meetings to represent the interest of the Board of Commissioners in opposition to the PRA Investment LLC application related to 121 Northwestern Avenue, Philadelphia. PRA Investment is requesting variances as to the permitted uses and dimensional requirements as outlined during my summary of the zoning hearing board agenda. That would be my motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
second.
Any questions or comments on the motion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. That would conclude my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Daley. We now move to the Chairman of the Human Resources Committee, Commissioner Graham.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have 2 announcements for my report. The first one is on Community Day. The Springfield Township Community Day Festival will be held on Sunday, October the 1st, 2017 at Cisco Park from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. As in the past, the Community Day will include free food, activities, and entertainment for all ages. In the event of rain, Community Day will be canceled. For planning purposes, the effects of weather on Community Day will be assessed on Friday, September the 29th. The 5K run and 1 mile walk will be held rain or shine, beginning at 9 a.m. Registration for the run/walk can be done through the link on the Springfield Township website, www.springfieldmontco.org, or directly at www.erdenheincivic.org/5K. Businesses and organizations interested in participating in Community Day or being a sponsor can receive registration information by going to the township website, www.springfieldmontco.org, and clicking on the calendar for the month of October. Also, the Carson Valley Children's Aid, located at 71 West Wissahickon Avenue in Flourtown, PA, will be cordially inviting all of the community to having a lemonade with our neighbors. The date of this will be Saturday, October the 7th, 2017 at 11 a.m. The neighbors and community will have the opportunity to interact with these bright and astute young people and drink some pretty good lemonade. That concludes my report for the evening.
Thank you, Commissioner Graham. We move to the Chairman of the Cultural Resources Committee, Commissioner Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 3 items tonight. The recycling report first. I am pleased to announce that during the month of August 2017, Springfield Township residents recycled 209.6 tons of material with a householder participation rate of 82.5%. The net cost for the month was $16,768.99. My second item regarding the opening of bids for the paper mill run riparian corridor. On September the 5th, 2017, the township opened 7 bids received through the electronic pen bid program for the paper mill run riparian buffer planting project. The project involves the installation of planting along the Paper Mill Run, north of its crossing under Paper Mill, for an approximate distance of 500 feet and ending at the pedestrian stone bridge, also crossing the stream. The bids received range from a low of $25,903.45 to a high of $74,300. A copy of the tabulation is available upon request. I would also just like to mention that the EAC, the Environmental Advisory Commission, and especially Mara Baird, who has been on the board for many, many years but just retired, worked diligently, along with township staff, worked diligently to pursue this application, which probably has been in the works for over 2 years, as an aside. So, the project is being paid for through a grant received through the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. So my motion is I move that the Board of Commissioners award a contract to Think Green LLC of Glenside, PA, for their base bid price of $25,903.45 and a bid alternative 1, 2, and 3 in the amount of $7,685 for a total project bid price of $33,588.45. That is my motion.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? And I will point out that this has been cooking for so long that we got a private grant on the part of this project, and I ran into the head of that board the other day at a funeral and mentioned, I had not talked to him before about it, and he said, oh, that foundation's been disbanded. That's why we were giving out bigger grants.
That's right.
It's 'cause
That's
they were
right.
but we did get
We did get a
funding
nice chunk of
from
change here, yeah.
so.
So we look forward to it.
Yeah, any other questions and comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote.
Okay, my last item, Mr. President, is a report on the Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System, the MS4 program. During the month, the township advertised the availability of the Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System, MS4 program, for the Manor Run tributary to the Schuylkill River. To date, the township has not received any comments on the MS4 program for the Manor Run. Therefore, I move that the Board of Commissioners authorized the draft MS4 program documents as they relate to the Manor Run to be incorporated into the Township MS4 program. So the less than legalese explanation is that we found this new creek that is down in the Panhandle, which leads into the Schuylkill, and we had to account for it in our overall MS4 program. That's basically the reason.
Okay, that's a motion, right?
Is it?
Yeah, for an announcement.
Motion to authorize that.
That's a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
I like the fact that we found this. It sounds like we're terra incognito up there in the Panhandle. But any questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote.
That's the end of my reports, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilson. Finally, we turn to the co-chairman of the Public Safety Committee, Commissioner Maxwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. One announcement this evening regarding the Arlingham and Sunnybrook Road speed humps. At the June 12, 2017 workshop meeting of the Board of Commissioners, the board asked for a recommendation from STEMS on the placement of a speed hump on Arlingham and/or Sunnybrook roads. STEMS does not meet in July and August, but discussed the concept of speed humps on the subject streets during their September 6, 2017 meeting. It is the recommendation of STEMS that the Board of Commissioners not consider the installation of speed humps on Arlingham or Sunnybrook roads. That concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you, Commissioner Maxwell. That concludes our reports. We are now open to any further public comment. Be there any? Do we have any?
Mr. President, with respect to Mr. Maxwell's last report, will that be part, the discussions of speed humps, will that be part of the agenda for October? Because I believe our engineer is supposed to give us an update on where they are with their project. And I mean, I guess
We could have a general a general item on updating on the project.
I guess my thrust of my question is that we received the memo the other day, and all respect to the STEMs, they do a great job. I think I've gotten some feedback from residents that would like to know the rationale for the recommendation, which I think I understand the STEMs discussions are just from police and fire in the past, but if they could at least maybe give us a summary, we can ask them at budget too, I guess, but if they could give us some type of summary as why, they're asking, particularly because there's one speed hump on Sunnybrook already in White Marsh, so just they want to know, or if maybe STEMs, maybe we could ask STEMs maybe to look at some alternatives like rumble strips or something like that. So,
Okay,
thank you very much.
sure. At this point, I'd be willing to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. We are adjourned.
Adjourn. Not too bad. 8:00.
It'd be 400, but-
Didn't bring that, no.